Do you want to feel better about yourself? Then consider one thing. You're imperfect. Welcome to the shared experience of being a human. We're all imperfect.
What? What are you talking about? I'm perfect.
We are all imperfect.
I'm
So
perfectly broken.
we are perfectly broken. So two questions. Number one, why are you being so hard on yourself? And number two, why do you keep talking to yourself like that? You know what I'm talking about. You're not being very kind to yourself. So we're going to cover 5 reasons why you might want to consider being a little nicer to yourself. Now, Josh, you covered the topic of self-compassion the last time we had our last video. And why do you think people are so hard on themselves?
Well, number one, I think people are so hard on themselves because they're trying to achieve something that's unattainable. They're trying to become perfect. And you need to realize life is imperfect. That's what it's meant to be. I said before, I don't feel like life is meant to be easy. It's not. It's meant to be hard. It's our trials, testament, and tribulation to God to show him we're worthy of eternity in heaven. You're going to make mistakes. Mistakes happen. That's the human condition. It is. And we're all guilty of it. You know, something I want you all to understand is we're not theologians. We don't sit down and break the Bible down. We haven't done it. Do we do Bible studies? Yeah. Do we read it? Yeah. But we're coming to you from a different perspective, trying to get you to see that, you need to be a little easier on yourself because
Maybe a lot easier.
yeah, the thing is there's one true judge. That's it. That one up there. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. We need to show ourselves a little compassion because first off, it's going to help enhance your resilience. It really is.
First point.
It is. It's being compassionate to yourself helps build resilience and helps you learn how to get through things.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It really comes back to, how do you overcome something if you don't take the first step to really forgiving yourself, right?
Yep.
And if you don't do that, you're going to be less resilient in getting over whatever you're kind of struggling through. The second point is it really does boost your self-esteem.
Absolutely.
The way you talk to
How can
yourself.
it? I mean, if you're sitting there always talking down to yourself, always putting yourself down, that's where you're going to sit. You're going to sit down there. I, I've learned for me that the more I sit in that dark place, the harder it is to come back out. So why even sit there in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just seems silly to me. Why be miserable?
Well, here's something to consider too. If you're talking down to yourself, you're attacking yourself. So you're both the attacked and the attacker, right?
Yeah.
Think about that, right? You're both the attacked and the attacker. So you're really, if you're in a state of suffering or struggling, you might be part of the reason why you're suffering because you're doing it to yourself. Right? Kind of crazy to think about in those aspects, but it's truth.
It is. It makes me laugh because not in a funny way, just how can you not understand that no one else is in charge of your happiness but you?
Yeah.
No one else.
Yeah, and
You're not here to make me happy.
No.
Is that your job to make me happy?
Mm-mm.
It's not your spouse's job. It's not your friend's job. It's not your kid's job. It's your job. And if you can't stop beating yourself up all the time for everything you do, how are you supposed to be happy?
Yeah. So again, stop criticizing yourself for being imperfect. That's really kind of what we're doing when we're doing that. We all make mistakes. We talked about this before. You're going to make more. And just know that is part, again, of the human, I'll say the shared human experience. We are imperfect. So be more self-accepting of your mistakes versus self-criticizing of your mistakes.
But what was that second word you used? Accepting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if we go back a video, what was our focus? Acceptance.
Accept. Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
Acceptance goes right along with self-compassion because if you can accept what you've done, you can start healing. If you can accept what's happened or transpired, you can start healing. Once you start healing, it starts all of these things we're talking about. Boosting your self-esteem. And that brings us into the next part too, which it's kind of a negative, unfortunately, is the negative effect it can have on your stress levels.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, the way you talk to yourself, I mean, we think sometimes that, our external environment is a thing that's really causing stress, but more than anything else, if you can control your beliefs about yourself and what you're saying to yourself, your stress, it's proven that your stress levels go way, way down. Way down.
Well, and a little example for me is in my recovery. In the beginning of my alcohol recovery, it was hard to put myself or be at like a wedding reception. I can remember when I was at where I had my coin in my hand and I was sitting there just flipping it and rubbing it, and my legs started twitching, and my girlfriend kind of reached over and put her hand on my leg and said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm not.
Mm.
I'm not. We gotta go." I mean,
Yeah.
that's literally how bad it affected me, and that right there was not okay. It wasn't okay for me because I set myself up to be in a situation to stress over something that I shouldn't have been stressing over.
Well,
So
and the
that's
people,
surroundings, you know?
well, and the stress piece you're talking about, I mean, do you think that we're all just a ball of energy? I mean, in general, just energy.
Absolutely.
And that term nervous energy, I mean, can you feel that in people?
Oh, 100%.
So we really are a vibration. Here's the crazy thing. If you kind of like measured vibration, I've done some research on this. The very top solid good vibration that you can have is enlightenment. Right below that is peace. But you know what the bottom vibration is? Shame
Really?
and grief. Surprise, surprise. And
Right.
anger. Right? I mean,
I figured maybe anger was a little bit lower on that list, but
shame is on the bottom.
that one
You
does
know.
not surprise me.
And so you are giving off an internal vibe. The way you're talking to yourself, you're creating this internal vibration. And what do you really want in your life, right? You don't want to be at the lower level of a vibration. You want to be attracting the good in your life. You want to be attracting friends. People can feel your vibe. You've
Oh,
heard the term,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. When you meet someone, you can tell the type of person that they are. If they
Yeah.
come up to you and they're just kind of Eeyore-ish, which can happen.
Yep.
You know, okay, this guy's maybe just a little chill, maybe a little down in the dumps. Maybe what can I do to help him pick that up?
And there was a study done. So let's go back to the self-talk thing again,
Yep.
focusing on that. There was a study done by a doctor by the name of Masaru Emoto. You can look this up. And you and I talked about this before. It's kind of crazy, but he did
Yes.
images of water when you spoke positive comments over it and negative comments, and the positive comments of like peace and love and joy, these beautiful crystals emerged, right? When you had anger and foul language, you had these just distorted,
Spiny, spiky looking.
which I mean, that was water. Well, here's the crazy thing: we are 60% water. Do you think that maybe what you're saying to yourselves has an impact on how you're feeling and what you're doing or not doing in your life? Right? I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's not woo-woo stuff. It's kind of real.
It is. I don't know. I don't find it to be that crazy if you simplify things. That's part of our problem is we try to overanalyze. We try to make it complicated, and it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't.
Talking to yourself in a certain way is not that hard.
It's not. Hey, yup, I made a mistake. Okay, number one, I accepted it. Now, how do I move forward? Okay, number one, moving forward, I can't sit here and beat myself up. Because if I beat myself up, I'm going to stay back where I was. I'm not going to move
That's
forward
right.
because I'm focusing on what's behind me.
So are you doing it to yourself right now? The way you're talking to yourself, is that really what you want? Do you want to keep beating yourself up to a point earlier? Do you want to be the attacked and the attacker? Because that's what you're doing.
Well, and maybe something that you've got going on, if you've got someone at work that you don't get along with, or someone in school that's been kind of like a bully, those people are beating you up too. Why are you trying to beat yourself up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all
Don't you
right.
have enough things coming at you?
Yeah, you got enough
In
things
life?
coming at you.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the positive things, because if I sit and dwell on the negative, that's where my energy goes.
Mm-hmm.
If I sit here and think of the positives, I try to be a glass half full guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I look at it as a glass half empty guy, I'm going, all right, well, it's almost gone. Now what?
Yeah, and so some of the things that we say to ourselves, you think about this. I know this is a true point because I've done it to myself. You wouldn't even say it to one of your closest friends or even somebody that you didn't like very much. You wouldn't be that rude to those people. So why are you being that rude to yourself? I'm a big believer in self-talk, and you kind of laughed at me. We talked about this here a few weeks ago, but I've even gone through the process in my life at times of saying, you know what, I'm just going to kind of go through it. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm sorry, Rob. I forgive you, Rob. I forgive you, Rob. I forgive you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. I love you, Rob. I love you, Rob. I love you, Rob. That is positive self-talk. It might sound weird, but you know what? If we're going
If it
back
works,
to,
if
if
it
it
works,
works,
I don't care what it is. It's like we talk about, having to find a higher power and what that higher power may be. I don't
Yeah.
care if your higher power is cup. I
Yeah.
don't care if it's table. Whatever it is right now at this point in your life, just finding a higher power to help guide you. And I know that sounds silly, but look at it however you need to. These types of things are proven things to work. They are types of things that will absolutely benefit you because it's benefited us.
Yeah, and reducing your stress levels too. I mean, it could be just practicing the gratitude thing. We mentioned that in our last video too. I mean, kind of like take some time to give yourself some space to focus on the things that you're thankful for. And
Right.
you know what? If you really put your mind to it, you can figure a few things out and just repeat them and repeat them and repeat them. That does help you get you in a better place. Trust me, I've done it. It works. You can't make up how you feel.
No, you can't.
And if you're feeling differently, if you do these things on a consistent basis, it will change who you are and how you're looking at yourself, and it really affect the way you're interacting with other people. That's point number 4. It's going to shape how you interact with the people around you.
Well, but to step back just 1 second on
Yes,
the
sir.
thing that you just finished up with is
Yeah.
saying, you're never wrong for how you feel. That's
Mm.
something I was raised. But what you also need to realize is you may feel the way you feel because of your choices. You may feel the way you feel because you're living back in those moments in life, because you're stepping back and just dwelling in it. Why? Step out of it.
Yeah.
You got to let those things go, because if you don't, coming to the 4th point, how are you going to shape relationships with other people if you're already beating yourself up? Now, are you going to start beating them up too? Are you going to start having no self-compassion for yourself and no compassion for the other people because you're still wallowing in your own pity?
Yeah, and beating them up is a good way of putting it, or dragging them down with you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have family, if you have kids, or a wife or a husband, and you're beating yourself up, you're going to drag them right down with you. I did that here going back 3 years ago. I had a really hard time pulling out of this pit, and there were so many people that were trying to come around me to kind of help pull me out of it. You're one of those dudes that were there for me. You weren't there for me in my darkest time,
I
but
was
you were there
not.
on the other side of it. But I dragged them down with me, and I still feel bad for it. I now see there was a purpose in all of it.
You
Why
still
we're
feel
here
what?
today. One of the
Guilt?
reasons why we're here today.
Still feel a
right?
little guilt? That
Yeah, I mean, you know what? And there are days when I do, but it goes away right away.
And that's what I mean.
You know what I mean? It's gone.
You've learned. You figured out how, okay, the guilt came. Yep, I did it. It's done.
It's done.
Moving on.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the other part of it too, is that guilt's going to step back in from time to time. It's going to creep in places at the worst times too when you don't expect it. But how you choose to handle those
and out.
emotions,
In and out, man. Yeah.
it's going to dictate what happens.
Yeah.
If you choose to handle those emotions in a poor way, there's going to be a poor outcome.
That's right.
And that's just the reality. So if you're trying to shape these relationships with people, you got to go in with a positive attitude.
And it goes back to the point of, you can't love other people until you love yourself first.
Exactly.
So you have to start there. And you have to really watch what you're saying to yourself, because every thought that you have about yourself, you're making a decision. You are making a decision. So make the right decision about who you are. Again, you're imperfect. You're supposed to make mistakes. Don't settle there. And don't be looking at everybody else's Facebook posts or social media. Everything's hunky-dory.
Don't compare yourself to other people. Stop judging
ain't
yourself
real.
by them. It just
ain't real, man.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's it. Up there. One judge. The rest doesn't matter. Because you know what? You've never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse, and I guarantee your banker ain't dumping your money into your coffin. Those are all just material things that do not matter.
That's right. Yeah. And again, and so the fifth point that we'll cover here, and the fourth one was shaping relationships. The fourth one is your personal growth. This was covered in our last video too. But again, when you accept the fact that you're imperfect and you have mistakes, guess what? That they aren't failures. They're the seed to the next biggest thing in your life. You have to realize that there's really no such thing as failure, is there? Maybe you disagree with that comment.
Kind of, but failures are meant to happen because you learn from failures.
That's right.
So, I mean, do they happen? No. Were they meant to happen? Maybe. I don't know. It depends on the path you're walking and the people you're listening to. You know, it depends on how you view this. And I view that everything happens for a reason. Mistakes,
So do I.
imperfections, all of them. They all
So do
happen
I.
for a reason, for personal growth. And
But you got to have that context too. I mean, you got to have that mindset that, you know what, I failed, but I'm learning something.
exactly. And
Right.
and that gets back to that wallowing in your own self-pity. You can sit there and wallow in your self-pity and go, oh, I did this, poor me, or this happened to me, poor me. But what is that doing for you?
Nothing.
It's not anything positive. It's not
It's like
building.
being in a rocking chair.
Gives you something
Going
to do
back
for a
and
while,
forth.
but gets
You
you
ain't going
nowhere.
anywhere.
Yep,
Right? I mean,
exactly.
that's what it's
And how are you going to grow as a human being if you're just sitting here doing this?
like. No, you're not.
If you're not out creating action, if you're not wandering around this beautiful planet trying to figure out, what's the right steps, it's always about doing the next right thing.
And you got a job to do. I don't know what your job is, but you have a job to do. Maybe it's raising your kids. Maybe it's a relationship with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, enhancing that. Maybe it's you're doing something in your community. But if you can't get to the point of understanding that you're going to make mistakes, and you have to get through it and love yourself and realize that you're not failing, but you're learning, you'll always be stuck.
I love that last part. Always realize you're not failing, you're learning. Remember that. You're not a failure. You're someone who's growing. And in growth, I don't know if you remember it, but when I was a kid, I grew like 4 inches or 5 inches over a summer. You want to talk about growing pains? That sucked. Well, unfortunately in life, it's emotional growing pains because I don't have it figured out. Do you have it figured out?
No, never will.
I wish I had all the answers, but I don't. And there's only one point in time when I do, and it's when I'm standing at those pearly gates. That's when I might get the answers I needed.
So, I mean, based on what we kind of talked about today, just kind of realized it, but really being imperfect, maybe that's the only way we grow. Because how would we grow otherwise?
That's a great question. How do you grow if you aren't making mistakes along the way? If you always think you're perfect, if you think you
have to be perfect,
right, or have to be perfect, living a perfected life, how are you ever going to get better?
That's right.
Because you're never going to have anything to make you take a step back and look at what you've done to realize where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got a plan. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to keep listening and hopefully keep following the right path.
That's right. And you made the comment about doing the next right thing. And doing the next right thing for you might just be how you're talking to yourself and what you're saying about yourself. So don't be so hard on yourself. Again, I'm Rob.
And I'm Josh.
And we're here to help you find the beauty
in the darkness.
We love you.
God loves you.
See you in the next video.